Good evening. This Town of Adams Board of Selectmen meeting on Wednesday, March 5th, 2025 is now called to order. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and televised live on Northern Berkshire Community Television, channel 1303. If anybody here wishes to record any portion of the meeting, please let me know. I see no one. With that, I will ask everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The first item on the agenda is the approval of minutes before the board is the February 5th, 2025 meeting minutes. What is the board's pleasure?
I make a motion to waive the reading of the minutes and approve them.
I have a motion by Ann. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed or an abstention? That is unanimous. Next item is public comment. Is there anyone who wishes to speak to the Board of Selectmen this evening under public comment? Please note that this will be the only opportunity to speak to the board, as you won't be called on when we get into the new business portion of the meeting. Hi. Yes, if you could come forward, state your name and your address.
Carl Nicholson, 6 Winfield Street.
Hey, Carl.
How are you guys?
Good.
Just wanted to pay some respects, say hello to you guys, and introduce a new business that we have coming to Adams. I'm renting a piece of the property at 6 Winfield to Christian, who's going to be doing a transportation business in cannabis as well. So I just wanted to have him meet you guys and make an introduction.
Carl, is this Triple C's cannabis?
Yes.
Okay, so we actually have that under new business as a presentation.
Okay.
And Christian will invite you up to give us an introduction and a little bit more.
Perfect.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Thank you. Is there anyone else? Yes, if you could please come forward and state your address.
Catherine Foster, Murray Street. I had asked several meetings ago about updating the policy for tuition reimbursement, and I don't see it on the schedule still. John Duval said that he was waiting for input from town council. Just want to make sure it doesn't get like falling through the cracks.
Okay, we'll get the message to John.
I've got something kind of odd question. Who's the DPW director? Because you appointed Jay Green. Is he still the DPW director? Because I think you should unappoint him if he is.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else for public comment? Okay. Hearing none, we will move on to new business. So Carl, will invite you up, and Christian, if you want to come back. And Ken, I don't know if there's any input from you or from the town side, or if this is really an introduction.
This is very new for me too.
Okay, great. So Carl, we'll let you do the introductions.
Okay, so
And
yeah.
if you want to remind folks of who you are and your business. Okay.
So I'm Carl Nicholson. I own Multi 420. We're a cannabis business. We're doing cultivation, manufacturing, but more recently we just got our special permits for retail delivery. We're at 6 Renfrew. We've been there. This is our 3rd year going on. And basically we were looking to add a lot more licenses to our business, but then we came across Christian at a social equity event. We both are social equity applicants, and he had a desire to get into transportation, which was a license we weren't even looking at. And after talking to him about just my perspective, my path, what I've gone through, the challenges that I saw, the biggest challenge was finding a property. I was lucky enough to get connected with John Burke, things worked out perfectly, the property's great. So I told him, I said, we're not gonna be starting our cultivation just yet, that's some times off. I said, so we have some space that I could rent you. So January 1st, he signed a letter of intent, and basically, I don't know where he can explain to you more, he's in the process of his licensing, but basically he's looking to do a third-party transportation license. And we did some research as I was helping him to help him understand, okay, where is that type of business needed? It's definitely needed out here in the Berkshires because of the sparsity between cultivation facilities, manufacturing facilities, and distributions, which are dispensaries. So after talking, we thought it would be a great idea, especially since I control the property, that he can have a place to at least establish himself in the area for a business that's needed for that. And so Christian and I, again, we got into an agreement on January 1st, which was a great way to start the year. And basically, he's in the process, and he can speak to you more about his completion of the licenses.
Thanks, Carl.
Hey, so my name is Christian Feliz. My company's name is called Triple C's. So basically, what Triple C's is a third-party transportation company that's going to deliver or transport cannabis from business to business. When it comes to the licenses, I'm going to apply for my license. I took the social equity program, and then I will be applying to get the transportation license. So formally, again, I just came to introduce myself so you guys can know who I am.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. So I'll open it up to the board. I'll remind the board that questions should be related to Triple C's and to Christian, because that's what's on the agenda and that's the introduction. So if anyone has questions for Christian.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. Can you explain how this transportation company would work? What needs to be done? How does this work, just basically?
So basically, what we do is we're going to be a third-party transportation company that, let's say, like if a business, let's say if a cultivating business needs a transportation of cannabis to another, to like a dispensary or delivery, that's when they contact us and we help them transport their product to other businesses, to like the dispensary or delivery businesses.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things that need to be done to be able to do it, as far as protection of your goods as you go. It's not a really easy thing. The Cannabis Control Commission has a lot of parameters that you need to meet. And have you had any discussions with them as of yet?
Woohoo!
Well, with the Cannabis Control Commission, any member or anything?
No, not yet. So the person that's helping me out with that, with the security stuff, is Carl.
Yep.
So he's starting with his business. So he's basically being like my mentor.
Yep.
Cause this is like my first time doing this type of business, but like he's the person that's helping me out. But I haven't spoke to like the commission control of cannabis yet.
Yeah. And may I ask you some questions? I know you've come in front of us quite a while ago, and you just said that you have Burke's building down there, which is a great building. And I was just wondering, you just mentioned that, well, I'm not gonna be doing this in the near future. What are your plans for that building? The best I can remember is that you were gonna grow kind of fashion type pot or something that, is...
So we're going to be using the property right now primarily for delivery. So separate from his delivery is business to business.
Right.
So he never sees a consumer, he never sees a private party. He can only deal with licensed cannabis businesses. Us, on the other hand, for example, we would need to contact his type of business to get a product from producers to us for distribution. And just like a dispensary where you walk into a dispensary, except we're an online dispensary. You place your order online, depending on how close or how far you are, we then deliver to you. So we're using the garage, the administrative building, and the warehouse. The warehouse is primarily just for parking our vehicles. I don't know if you're familiar, but the warehouse The biggest building on the property is split in two.
Yeah.
He's renting one half, we're keeping the other half. And then for us, we're using the garage in the back for our packaging, and we're using the administrative building for our vault.
Okay, are you,
So I would like to keep the questions about triple Cs, because that's what's on the agenda and not MOTOF 420.
okay, all right.
So if you've got questions about the business relationship between the two, that's fine, because it's triple Cs, but I was
Okay,
just being careful about open meeting law. My apologies.
Okay, I'm just going to stop there. Thank you very much.
No problem at all.
Yeah.
I have a question. You said you have to get some licensing,
Yeah, that I will be applying for, yes.
and that's going through the state, whatever.
Yeah. I just finished my social equity program like a month ago, so now I'm gonna start.
And how long do you think before you'll get your licensing?
It depends on the process. I just gotta start applying for my
Okay,
license.
fair enough. Thank you.
Anything else for Christian? Got anything? All right.
Yes, I have
Yeah,
one
go ahead.
question. Could you explain to myself and people watching what the equity program is? I know what it is, but I don't think others might not.
Say that again, sorry. Ask that again, sorry.
Yeah, the equity program that you're going to go through, justice, equity,
So I already took the social equity program.
right.
So basically what it is so basically what it is, it just gives you like the program itself, like once you go through it, like it like with the rules and like of the businesses, it talks about the licenses, all types of licenses and stuff like that, where you can have like depending on the business that you're having, like basically the rules and stuff like that with the social equity program. That's what teaches me.
And just my last question, do you have to take a written test or anything to once?
No, so like for each class that I took, at the end, they'll ask me questions and stuff like that, and I gotta answer it.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
All right, well, thank you. I think we'll be hearing more from you.
All right, appreciate you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Thank you, Carl. All right. So that brings us to item B under new business, introduction of Curtis DeRocher. Did I say it correctly? Okay. Veteran Service Agent, and then also a presentation on veteran services. So Curtis, if you'd like to come and introduce yourself.
Good evening. My name is Curtis DeRocher. I'm the newly appointed Veteran Service Officer for Adams and also for the entire northern Berkshire County. So Adams, Williamstown, North Adams, Savoy, Cheshire, Clarksburg, Florida Mountain. I do have some handouts that I would like to give you guys real quick.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll get it to you. Okay.
And I do have some for everybody that's here if you'd like some. I built a PowerPoint presentation. I'll kind of not read through it, but I'll hit the key points of each one. So there's two personnel in my office. It's myself and Tina Sampson, who is my administrative assistant. She deals with a lot of paperwork aspect of things. She's big in the communities as far as we have a pantry in North Adams that we use for veterans. It has clothing, toiletries, food, but it's not just for North Adams, it's for the whole county, or district, I should say. So she's a big part of that. She does a lot of coordinating. We do picnics in June, sorry. January would be terrible. We do it in June. In North Adams, so that's one of our bigger events that we'll send out the invites here soon. So quick on me, I was raised in Williamstown, joining Army in 2001, and then I retired in 2021 as a Master Sergeant. Deployed to Afghanistan 3 times, Iraq twice, married, my wife is actually here, and we have 6 children together, 3 boys, 3 girls, from 11 to 25. So we spend most of our time sporting events, which I'm kind of shocked you guys are here tonight and not at the Jerry Music game. But yeah, so I spent 20 years in the Army, so I do have a good idea and background on the great benefits that the state has and that the federal government has. So quick, what is a VSO? Basically, my job is to ensure that veterans and dependents of the area are taken care of, that they get the benefits that they're entitled to, and that they have fought for. The problem that I've already seen is there's a lot of individuals that just don't know that these benefits exist. And so that's kind of where I'm at is when I speak, it's great that the people in the room that I'm speaking at understand and get an idea, but it's also even better when those people that are in the room that I speak at take the information out into the community and speak about it out there, or they overhear somebody talking and they can point them in the right direction. So that's huge. Chapter 115 benefits, which are state benefits for the veterans, they go back as far as pre-Revolutionary War. The state of Massachusetts has always been big on taking care of their veterans. So in 1861, Civil War era, they started the Chapter 115 benefits. Well, what are Chapter 115? Basically, it's assistance for cash assistance, it's fuel assistance, it's medical assistance, dental assistance. There's a lot of variables that go with the 115 benefits. The one misconception with 115 benefits are you had to have served in a war. That is not true. So it's during a war time, so not necessarily, I'm using the Vietnam War as an example, you didn't have to go to Vietnam, you just had to have served during that war. So I think that's a misconception that, especially with widows, they think because their spouse didn't serve in the war that they're not eligible for benefits, and that is not true. They are eligible. So that's a big misconception. How does the program work? Basically, they come to my office, which my office here in Adams is at the Visitor Center on the second floor, room 9. I was actually just over there yesterday. I gave a little presentation to Council on Aging. We had a lunch. It was a good time. So they come to me. We fill out all the application. We fill out the important numbers game, see if they're eligible. If they are, it gets submitted, and then they start receiving benefits. The town pays the benefits. However, the state reimburses the town 75% of those benefits. So if they're paying out $1,000 a month in benefits, they're getting $750 back from the state. So the state is really picking up the big part of the bill. So that's kind of chapter 115. There's so much in it that I could literally sit here and speak for 8 hours on it. But if there are questions, my business card is on the paperwork, and so I can answer questions via email or however else that people want to get in touch with me. My main office is North Adams City Hall on Main Street. So, all right, so real quick, BRAVE Act. The BRAVE Act took the place of the VALOR Act. What the BRAVE Act is, it was passed in 2018. Again, there's a lot of different parts to the BRAVE Act. There's a diversion program that goes with the BRAVE Act that for veterans, if they get in trouble and they meet the criteria, they're going to go a different route in the court system depending on the judge and what they want to do as far as a diversion. The diversion being basically don't get in trouble and we'll kind of, not forget about it, but we'll let you go with lesser of a punishment. BRAVE Act is big for the Veterans and Warriors Agricultural Program Fund. So basically, soldiers, veterans is really what it is, but veterans to agriculture. It's the same concept as veterans to teachers. So they're trying to get individuals to come out of the service and go into the agriculture business, which is really in need. And they have the same program for teaching, and there's a few other ones too. So a few things that the BRAVE Act did, want to make sure that it was clear. So whenever a disabled veteran applies for a job,
Bless you.
it is, they cannot ask for medical records from that disabled veteran as part of a contract. So basically, if the disabled veteran applies for a job, and there's some stipulations in that contract that the employer perceives that veteran of not being able to do, they cannot ask for medical records in order to verify that. It is against the law and can't be done. So it's pretty self-explanatory. So one thing that the state recommends, again, it's a recommendation, designated parking spots at city and town buildings, labeled for veteran parking. Again, recommendations, it's part of the act. It's more of a recognition thing that the state's trying to get at, and so they're trying to do whatever they can to show that the state is recognizing the veterans. So again, that is more of a city-town decision, and obviously voted on and whatnot, but it is part of the BRAVE Act. Some of the miscellaneous benefits that go with it, for veterans that, when they pass away, if they don't have the financial means for burial, the state will pay up to $4,000 as long as the burial itself does not cost more than $5,000. So that's a huge win, because I see it a lot with everyday people that, the cost of funerals is pretty high. Tax work-off programs, it's another big one that a lot of towns in the eastern part of the state do. So we have senior citizen tax work-offs, and we also have veteran work-offs. And so, again, it's a voted-on process, but basically you can work up to 100 hours towards the abatement of property tax at minimum wage. So you're not actually getting a check, you're working for minimum wage, community service type stuff. Again, senior citizen work-off program is different than the veteran one, basically because of the type of work that we're going to allocate. So that's another one. And so moving from the BRAVE Act, we go into the HERO Act. That's the newest act that was just passed on August 8th of last year. This one's actually, the governor is very big on this one. She has touted it for quite a while, and it had a lot of good benefits to it. One of them, for 100% disabled veterans and Gold Star families, is the annuity went up. So it used to be $2,000, you got a $1,000 check in February and then a $1,000 check in August. And that was just the state saying thank you. So now they've changed it, and that annuity level is now $2,500, and it's one-time payout in August. So every August, they'll get a $2,500 check. That's state money that doesn't come out of the town. And so the state, again, Massachusetts has some of the best veteran benefits in the country. The HERO Act also expand R&D benefits, the property tax exemption. So this one's it's a little iffy on how, so a lot of towns did not adopt this. And I'm going to go into a couple actually. The first one is allowing for parents of the, not Gold Star families, but parents of deceased children to apply and get the tax exemption. It's in the act, it's on the towns and cities to vote on. A lot of towns aren't doing it because the spouses are already qualified for it. And the Gold Star parents are already qualified for it. This is just expanding it to be the rest of the family, basically. So it comes at a cost to the town, to Adams, because it's not reimbursed. So that's kind of the big kicker with it. The other part to this is it gives the town the ability to double tax exemptions that are already in place. So for instance, if you have a 10% disability rating, you qualify for a $400 reduction in your property tax every year. This act now allows you to make that $800. But the kicker to it is Adams would foot the $400. So as of right now, you get the reimbursement percentage for the first $400, but not for the second $400. So again, that's just another, the tax exemption in the HERO Act is another obviously voted on procedure if it's ever taken up. Again, a lot of towns aren't doing it, but there may be some that are. That's, a decision that I guess could be talked about more in depth. So all right, so the active duty service buyback. So it used to be a lot shorter. So basically you got out, if you were in the military, and you had a very short period of time to decide once you went to a local government, municipality, or that type of work to decide if you wanted to do buyback. Now, so for instance with me, I just started working in North Adams, the district. I technically fall under North Adams. So once I hit my 10-year mark with the city, I then have to make a decision on whether I want to do my buyback. Then I have 1 year from that 10-year mark to actually complete the paperwork and the payment method and all that stuff for the buyback. So theoretically, I have 11 years from the time I start to decide on whether I want to do buyback, which is a long time, because I actually did all the paperwork the other day, and then I was told, don't worry, you got 10 years to decide what option you want. I'm like, oh, wow, okay. So, quite a while. But yeah, so it's good. And then, I think that's about it. The one thing that my assistant Tina wanted to make sure that I made a very good point of is that the Adams VSO office is not here in the town hall. It is over in the visitor center. I guess a lot of people still come here. So we just want to make sure that everybody knows that we have moved over to the visitor center on the second floor, room 9. I'm usually there Tuesday afternoons. However, I'm available to make an appointment at any time, whatever is best for the veteran. And again, please, if none of this information pertained to you, I'm sorry that you didn't have it pertain to you, but please put the word out, talk to people. The more people that I can get to come to my office, and I tell people all the time, because it's the same saying, I don't need it, give it to somebody else. Well, the problem is the state is going to keep that money in a pool. It's not going to go anywhere. So if this person doesn't take it, the next person's still going to get their share of it, and you're entitled to it. So take the money you're entitled to, and we can make everybody happy.
Thank you, Curtis, and thank you for a thorough explanation of the benefits. I did want to mention we do have a tax work-off program here in Adams for veterans. If there are opportunities for somebody to be part of the tax work-off program here in Adams, we should be sending them to you to make sure that our veterans know about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, we can work kind of in partnership with that to make sure that not only are they, I can at least let you know, like, hey, they probably can't do this type of work and such, that maybe they didn't want to tell you, because
Okay.
I know a little bit more of their background. But yeah, sending them to me and then having them go through the process.
Okay. I think it goes through our assessor's office. Okay.
Yeah.
I got a nod from the town clerk that it does. And then I'm curious about the veterans designated parking spot. So in the information that I saw here, it seems that it's for town halls or city halls, but could it be extended to municipal buildings?
Yes.
Okay.
And
So it doesn't have to be specific to this building?
correct.
Okay.
And then with that, it would be marked, and it would be treated as I don't know how far people would go with it, but if somebody parked there that wasn't a veteran, which, by the way, that'd be very hard to figure out, but if they did, and they figured it out, and it says it in there, there's certain ways to go about the fine. I think it's a $100 fine, but it can't be so detrimental to them that it's affecting their insurance and stuff
Yeah.
like that, so.
I wasn't aware of that program, so to me, that sparks some interest and something to explore, but I didn't know if we were limited to this building, because this building has limited parking.
Right.
But maybe where your office is located,
Yeah,
that would be an
absolutely.
ideal location
Right.
and so forth. And you mentioned something during your presentation about those who didn't serve and who weren't deployed, but served during wartime.
Correct.
My father served, but was on his way to Vietnam when the war was called off. Thank God, I probably wouldn't be here. And he won't actually call himself a veteran.
My grandfather was the same way.
And I have so many others in my life who are in the same category, and I've for years tried to hammer home that they have served, and we are grateful. So I know that that's probably difficult in conversations that you're having all the time, but I echo what you said, that if you have served our country, to call yourself a veteran and to call you and figure out maybe there are benefits in service that they can continue with.
And one thing I didn't get into, sorry to not trying to cut you off, but one thing I didn't get into really is the welcome home bonus that is offered through the state, which, again, that's another 30-minute conversation, but everybody who served in the military is eligible for a welcome home bonus of some kind, whether it was in World War I, II, Vietnam, Korea, and so that's a big one that I know a lot of people have never gotten. And so that's literally as easy as me clicking a mouse and sitting down with them for 5 minutes and getting them a check for anywhere from $100 to $1,000.
Ann, Joe, questions? Ann?
I have a question. I was online today. My husband is a veteran. He is getting services, but we go through Bennington. And they were saying something about spouses are able to get benefits.
Through, so to go to the VA?
Going through the VA.
So it's hard to say yes or no to that without knowing.
Well, my question is that would be for more the veteran that maybe had been disabled?
That's exactly.
Rather than just like my husband who served and was blessed that he came out with nothing as far as injuries or anything.
Yeah, and again, I can't give a yes or no, but yes, more so, it's called Champ V.
That is it.
Right, and so a lot of what that is yes, more of the disabled side of it.
I know, because we looked into the vets for dental through Reeds, because we go to both because some things they don't have in Vermont. And they said, do we have a disability? And we said, no, he's not eligible for dental.
Yeah, my wife and I got to drive to White River Junction once for an appointment.
We've done it.
That was not fun.
No, it's not.
I don't ever want to go back.
I know exactly.
It's a long drive.
Thank you.
Long, boring drive.
Joe?
Yes, first and foremost, thank you for your service to our country. I was, a few questions. One thing, I'll make a comment first. I was very thankful that the powers to be rebuilt Leeds, the veterans home. I think it was definitely sorely needed, and I think it's been very beneficial. Also, I really have you been keeping check on what's going on in the federal government so far with the new administration with veterans? I find it alarming. And I'm just saying that as a comment. I don't know how it will proceed, where it will end. I don't think anybody knows right now. And my last is more of a comment once again. I know a lot of veterans, and the veterans that I know, a lot of them got out of the service and they were demoralized. And a lot of them got into drugs, got into alcohol, got into bad habits. And you brought up a real stellar point when you said that there are so many things for veterans, but it's so hard to get the veterans to understand it in some respect. Not that they're knowledgeable enough not to know it, but, and there has to be a better way to outreach to the veterans. And I don't know what the answer is, but you just brought up a good point to, you know, if you know a veteran, you know, tell them that there's help for them and things, but there's a lot out there for them, but I think a lot of them are, right now, at least the people I know are in the Vietnam era, and a lot of them have, you know, kind of quote, given up on life. A lot of them I know have already passed, you know, and I'm just glad that you have the will to want to do what you're doing, because it's such a big help for all of our veterans, and thank you.
And on that point, it is that group that these benefits truly do help. And there's other organizations. Pittsfield has a group called Soldier On that does wonderful things for our homeless veterans and veterans that have just fell on hard times. And we kind of work hand in hand. When they get a referral, they're almost immediately sending them our way so that we can kind of get on to this Chapter 115, which is huge. And so again, I'm only one person, and I am all with you on how do we get the product out there, whether it's through social media, town web pages. The problem is with the Vietnam era guys, and it's nothing on them, but how many of them are actually on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok? Not a whole lot. And so we kind of got to go back to the old school way of, you know, whether it's billboards or newspaper ads or whatever it is, but thinking outside the box and coming up with different ideas is 100% what I'm going to try to do. I love this job. I've only been doing it a month, but my wife will tell you this is the job I wanted when I retired. I love giving back. I always have. And so I foresee myself doing this until I retire. Hopefully it's around the early 60s, so my wife and I can travel a whole bunch, but we'll see what happens. But I love the job, and so I'm happy if one person finds out. I'm not satisfied, because I won't be satisfied until every one of them is getting some type of either conversation or a benefit. But I'm happy to at least help one person. So that's kind of why I'm happy you guys invited me out here, and I thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Curtis.
you.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. That brings us to item C under new business, ratification of appointment of Elaine Melillo to the position of Administrative Assistant in the Department of Public Works. And Ken, I think I'll turn it over to you.
Yes, Elaine was one of 3 applicants who were interviewed for this position, the only one who came from internally here. She's worked for 2 years in the Department of, in the city clerk's, town clerk's office rather, and she holds a bachelor's degree and is a very fine employee, and I'm pleased that the selection committee has appointed her, subject to your ratification, of course.
Okay. We do have a memo in our packet, and Elaine has made her way to the podium. The memo is from Tim Coda. This letter is to advise the Board of Selectmen that Elaine Melillo has been appointed to the position of Administrative Assistant to the Department of Public Works. As provided in Section 10 of the Town Charter, I am pleased to present Ms. Melillo for your ratification this evening. The interviews for this position were conducted by me, Stephanie Melito, former DPW Administrative Assistant, and Bree Hantman, Executive Assistant. 3 candidates were advanced for interviews, one of them being internal. All performed quite well in their interviews, which made the decision challenging. However, the hiring committee unanimously agreed that Ms. Melillo's qualifications and experience were most fitting for the position. She holds a bachelor's in business administration, has been employed by the town for almost 2 years, and has a significant understanding of municipal operations and public engagement. Ms. Melillo will assume her duties on or about March 17th, 2025 at grade 6, step 7 rate of $23.24 an hour, and respectfully submitted by Tim Coda. So any questions for Elaine or for Ken?
I have no questions.
All right. Then is there a motion?
make a motion that we ratify the appointment of Elaine Melillo as Administrative Assistant to the Department of Public Works.
Probably give the
The grade step
grades
and,
and steps at the very
Oh,
bottom.
I'm sorry. And she will assume her duties on or about March 17th, 2025 at grade 6, step 7 rate of $23.24 hourly.
okay, I have a motion by Ann, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
Yes, I would just like to make a comment. I've known Elaine for a long time, and she's a very pleasant person, and I think she fits the bill of a public employee just right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Yes, we all agree.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
If there's no more discussion, all those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed or an abstention? That is unanimous.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so item D is the appointment of Corinne Case to the Adams Zoning Board of Appeals. Ken, do you have anything on
I
this?
have nothing on that, I'm sorry.
We don't have a memo or an application.
In the very end of the thing, I think is the piece that.
Yes, it is, you're right. I did see it.
It wasn't in every.
That is just yours. Got it.
Sorry.
Yep, nope. I was like, I thought I saw it, and then I couldn't, so thank you. So Corinne's application does mention that she has a paralegal certificate from Northeastern University. She's worked for 10 years with an attorney practicing real estate law. She is asking to serve because she would like to uphold the codes and ordinances in the community for the good of our residents, and she has no bias due to family or business conflicts. And she is looking to be appointed to the Zoning Board of Appeals, which I believe we mentioned at our last meeting. We had a vacancy with Tim Kitchell stepping down from the Zoning Board. I do believe it's an alternate position and not yes, the town clerk is confirming my belief that it is an alternate position to the Zoning Board of Appeals. So if the Board of Selectmen wanted to move forward with this appointment, it would be to appoint Corinne as the alternate, as an alternate to the Zoning Board of Appeals, sorry, because there's two. Oh, there's three. There's three alternates, thank you. Right. Do you know the term
It's whatever the Board of.
to fill the vacancy? Okay.
Because there's 3 anyway, so it could be at 25, 26, or 27.
Can you come to the microphone?
Sorry.
That's okay.
Since there are 3 alternates, positions open, you could pick the term till 25, 26, or 27.
And is it typically 1, 2, or 3
It
year?
would be a 1, 2, or 3 year. So since there's 3, you could decide, I guess we're in March, so you could do it till 25 and then decide to do it again in June for another 3 years, or you could pick a 2-year and do it till, say a year and a couple months.
Yep,
It would actually end on June 30th,
26.
2026.
So our options are to appoint with a term ending June 30th, 2025, June 30th, 2026, or June 30th, 2027.
Correct.
Got it. Okay.
Does that work?
Yes. I'm clear now, thank
Okay.
you. So we do have other alternate positions that are open, so if there are others who are interested in serving on the Zoning Board of Appeals, they could also apply. Got it. Okay. What is the board's pleasure?
I hope I can get this right.
I have faith.
I'm going to make a motion to appoint Corinne Case as an alternate to the Town Zoning Board with a ending date of either 2025, June 2025? Is it June?
Yep.
Or June 2026, or June 2027?
You actually get to pick, as the one making the motion. We can,
I think I'll pick for 2027.
Okay.
She would like to do that.
okay. I have a motion by Ann, and do you have that, Jordan, that motion? Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion?
Yeah, I'd just like to say, Ann, I would want for 27 if you can get somebody to volunteer. Get it as long as you can.
Keep them as long as we can.
That's right.
Perfect. Great. If there's no more discussion, all in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed or an abstention? That is unanimous. And thank you to Corinne. All right. That brings us to licensing, and we do have that memo in our packet. Yep, no, you're good. We had the other one, it was just in a different place, sorry. So we'll take these one at a time. But we do have a memo from Jordan to the board letting us know that the license applications that are before us, that are on the agenda, have been received, reviewed, and deemed complete, including all attachments, paperwork, and payment. Correct? Yep, okay. And we will take the first one, which was the facility use request for the Zerbini Family Circus to use Bow Field, July 29th through the 30th, from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m.
I'll make a motion that we approve the facility use request for the Zerbini Family Circus to use Bow Field, July 29th and 30th, 2025, from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m.
We have a motion by Ann. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I just have a question. At the bottom, due to the nature of these applications, it was not necessary to submit them to legal counsel for review. Who will oversee if they have liability insurance and all the other specifics that we should know?
So that's the paperwork that Jordan has referenced that we have. The
Okay.
liability insurance, the payment, the application I'm sorry,
Oh,
Jordan.
sorry. Bree actually did most of these ones, so she helped me with that letter.
Okay.
If they needed a license and all that stuff, insurance, that's all
Part of their application.
part of the application and presented.
I seconded it.
Yes. Yep. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed or an abstention? That is unanimous. The next one is a public entertainment license for the Zerbini Family Circus at Bow Field for July 29th, 4 to 8 p.m.
I'll make a motion that we approve the public entertainment license for the Zerbini Family Circus at Bow Field on July 29th from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m.
I have a motion by Ann. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed or an abstention? That is unanimous. The next one is a public entertainment license for the Zerbini Family Circus at Bow Field on July 30th from 5 to 8 p.m. And I believe July 30th is a Sunday, which is why it is a separate license.
I make a motion that we approve a public entertainment license for the Zerbini Family Circus at Bow Field on July 30th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m.
I have a motion by Ann. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed or an abstention? That is unanimous. The next is some licensing for the Adams Street Fair. The first one is a public entertainment license for the Adams Street Fair, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. on Saturday, September 13th at the Adams Visitor Center with a rain date of, oh no, that's right. That would be separate, sorry. It would be Saturday, September 13th is all that is here. My apologies.
I make a motion we approve a public entertainment license for the Adams Street Fair from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. on Saturday, September 13th at the Adams Visitor Center, which is at 3 Hoosick Street, Adams, Mass., Depot Street, and Hoosick Street to the Waverly parking lot.
Thank you. I have a motion by Ann. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed or an abstention? That is unanimous. The next one is a public entertainment license for the Adams Street Fair to host fireworks at the Valley Street Field on Saturday, September 13th, 3 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. I can assure the public that the fireworks would not be going for that entire period of time. That includes setup.
I make a motion that we approve the public entertainment license for the Adams Street Fair to host fireworks at the Valley Street Field, Adams, Mass. On Saturday, September 13th, 2025, from 3 p.m. to 9:30 p.m.
I have a motion by Ann. Do I have a second?
Second?
Any discussion?
Yeah, I was just wondering about when you have fireworks and our fire department, is there a cost to the people putting this on to have to pay the fire department for being on duty, just as if a lot of these, like the street fair, there's always policemen, and how do they ascertain how many policemen they're going to need? Because it's quite costly to have a policeman, for an elongated affair. And who makes that decision? Do you know?
So I believe that that formula is on the facility use request. It had it at that point. I don't have it in front of me, but it would say like.
They estimate the crowd?
Yeah, crowd size, then it would be number of officers, but it is something that the chief has to review. But there is a cost associated
Yeah.
that goes to the organizer.
Yeah. Okay,
For the
thank
fire
you.
department, I can't.
Yeah, that must be
Comment
their own
on.
separate thing.
Yeah. Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed or an abstention? That is unanimous. The next is for Thunderfest. So the first one is a public entertainment license for Thunderfest by Pro Adams for Saturday, March 22nd, from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. at the Adams Visitor Center.
I'll make a motion we approve the public entertainment license for Thunderfest by Pro Adams, Saturday, March 22nd, 2025, from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. at the Adams Visitor Center, 3 Hoosick Street, Adams, Mass.
I have a motion by Ann. Do I have a second?
Second?
Second by Joe. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed or an abstention? That is unanimous. And this is where I was getting ahead of myself. Pro Adams has submitted an application for a Sunday entertainment license in the event that they have to move to their rain date, which is Sunday, March 23rd, in which they would then need a different license, which is the Sunday entertainment license. So that is what that request is for.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Sunday entertainment license for the Thunderfest if it's a rain date on Sunday, March 23rd, 2025, from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. at the Adams Visitor Center, 3 Hoosick Street, Adams, Mass.
I have a motion by Ann. Do I have a second?
Second?
Second by Joe. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed or an abstention? That is unanimous. And that takes care of the licensing. So that brings us to item F, a follow-up on the conversation regarding the brush grinding project. Now I'll turn it over to Ken.
Well, you remember 2 weeks ago when we met and discussed this, and Cernak was here, we talked about it, and Christine mentioned that I would bring back a follow-up report, and so I'm doing that this evening. Really, I looked at the bidding. How would this project take place? And I talked to Tim and when he would want to do it. So he was looking to do it in July. Looks like we have enough money in the recycling program, about $16,000 to take care of it. There's 2 sections of Massachusetts law, without getting into all the detail. One of them is a little bit simpler, but they require statewide advertising in 2 places. With the Secretary of State and with the Operational Services Division, it's an online platform. We need about at least a month's lead time because it has to be advertised for 2 weeks. The law that I'm proposing we do it under requires us also to reach out to at least 3 firms that customarily do the business, and that would allow us to contact the people here to do that business. Now, we would write bid specifications that would detail the kind of equipment that needed to be used. The other thing Tim and I discussed was, We thought we'd create maybe a big pile like winter sand and people would come and pick up mulch, but Tim says, we're gonna get shards. It's not really the kind of mulch you buy in bags, but we have to use it following the state's requirements, or the grant would be invalid. So what Tim and I had talked about this afternoon was requiring the contractor to have a plan for reusing the mulch. It's not really mulch, it's ground up wood. The grinds, in accordance with the state requirements, we would lay that out in the bid, and they would have to tell us, and then we could follow up, and I contacted Linda and said, is this a good idea? She said, I think that's a very good idea. So that's where we stand. I also resigned myself up for getting, what's called a prevailing wage job. Almost any construction job in municipalities requires the payment of prevailing wages. And I signed myself up for it, and I got a set of wages for this particular job, but they expire in about 90 days. I'd have to extend it. So anyways, we're set up to go. We have to write the specifications up and get it out to bid, and hopefully we'll get it ground up in the summertime.
Questions?
Yeah, just a quick comment. It's a shame that we have to put out advertising, which is so costly to, other places. What did you say, how many you had to give out for?
No, the good thing is, Joe, we don't have to pay for the advertising. It's done without cost on the Secretary of State's called the Central Register. And then on the Operational Services Division, which is part of the Executive Office of Administration and Finance, they have an online platform. So that one goes up instantly. It takes a little while to get it in the Secretary of State's, but we have to notify at least 3 people who commonly do this work that the bid is out there. So that's just a matter of us copying it and sending it out, getting a list of names.
Okay, because I guess I misinterpreted what you said at first, that something about you needed to advertise.
If we went another route under state law.
Okay, so the first route, you're just doing away with it, and we're going to try to go with 3 local.
We'll look at firms, they say firms customarily doing the business.
Right.
But we'll look for local firms, we'll get it out there. The difference is, that's the good part about that section of law. The other section of law says, have a sealed bid, advertise it in the paper, so we avoid that cost. And we get it, and we have a mandate to go out and solicit from local firms.
Okay, good. Thank you for the update.
Anything else? Okay. Thank you, Ken. Okay. I think you're up again for the revised budget review workshop schedule.
Yes, and I don't know if I inadvertently pulled the schedule out, if anyone has. I've almost memorized it, and I've done it so many times, and I apologize that I didn't check the packet carefully enough. But we're on the same schedule that we proposed last time. I don't think we made any differences. We made a couple of changes to accommodate Christine's schedule. So we're going to start in earnest at our next meeting. That keeps us in conformance with the town's charter about when we should start prior to the annual town meeting. So on the 19th, we're going to have for you a preliminary budget. There's not going to be a lot of detail, but you'll see what we think the numbers are going to be. And then we'll start to build that budget, because on the 26th, or 25th rather, we're going to have the budget books prepared. And then we have a whole schedule going through twice weekly almost, so we will be done by the middle of April with our budget review. Also in keeping with the requirements of the town's charter, the Finance Committee will get the books on, I think, the 4th of April. And I emailed Jay this week. I emailed him the schedule. And so the Finance Committee can make their plans for meeting.
And that would be Jay Meswer, who's the chair of the
Yes.
Finance Committee.
Jay Meswer.
Okay, yep,
His schedule.
okay. Any questions for Ken?
No, I don't have any questions, but I'm hoping that there's a robust discussion during our budget. I think we've got to look closely at a lot of things that are going on in this community and how money's being spent, and I plan on asking, quite a few questions about monetary things in the community.
Anything else? All right. Thank you. Item H, is a review and acknowledgement of receipt of open meeting law complaint filed by Ms. Kathy Foster against the Adams Board of Selectmen dated February 24th, 2025, and received on February 26th, 2025, and looking to refer to town council for response. What is the board's pleasure?
Does that mean I read again?
If you would like to read, you could read the agenda.
I think we should review and acknowledge an acknowledgement of receipt for the open meeting law complaint filed by Kathy Foster against the Board of Selectmen dated February 24th, 2025, and received on February 26th, 2025, and referred to town council for response.
Okay, I have a motion by Ann. Do I have a second?
Second?
Any discussion?
Yeah, I was just having a question. Now, how long, when we give it to our council, do they have to make a verdict on, or a decision? Because it seems like these things just keep on going on, and we're saying the same thing, but we're not getting any answers to it.
I don't have the dates in front of me. We can get a response to you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed or an abstention? That is unanimous. And then we have a review and acknowledgement of receipt of open meeting law complaint filed by Ms. Kathy Foster against the Adams Board of Selectmen dated February 26, 2025, and received on February 27, 2025, and looking to refer to town council for response.
I make a motion we do the review and acknowledgement of receipt of open meeting law complaint filed by Kathy Foster against the Adams Board of Selectmen dated February 26, 2025, and received on February 27, 2025, and referred to the town council for response.
I have a motion by Ann. Do I have a second?
Second?
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed or an abstention? That is unanimous. And under announcements, we do have a resignation from Frederick Hobart, resigning from the Town of Adams Cemetery Commission. This was effective February 28th, 2025, and that letter was put in everyone's packets, so we do have that position to fill. Yeah, Haley, if you want to come up. It's an elected position, correct?
Yes, it is. It's an elected position, and Mr. Hobart gave the letter in ample time to have it on the next town ballot.
Okay.
So, and it would be a one-year term.
Okay. So that is the one-year term that you're going to, well,
I'm going to talk about in the next.
in the next announcement?
Yes.
Okay. Anything on the cemetery commission?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank Fred for his time. He's been on that commission for quite some time.
Yeah. All right. If nothing else, then we'll move on to the next announcement, which is the annual town election update.
Okay, so in case nobody knows out there in TV land, the annual town election is May 5th. It's going to be at Adams Memorial Middle School, Memorial Building, sorry. I'm dating myself, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And nominations are still available. As you just heard, we've added a cemetery commission position for a one-year term. So if anybody is interested out there you're more than welcome to stop in and get nomination papers. I'm just going to run through the whole list of positions that are available. We have one position for a moderator, 2 selectmen, 1 treasurer-collector, 1 assessor, 1 board of health member, 2 library trustees, a planning board member, 1 cemetery commission member for 3 years, and then 1 for the 1 year. That's the one that was recently added. Housing Authority for 5 years, redevelopment for 5 years, McCann's for 3 years, Northern Berkshire Regional Vocational School District, and then Hoosick Valley Regional School District, Adams representatives, 2 for 3-year terms. And we have various precinct members up. This year, there's always 10 in each precinct, and then we have a few others that are in various precincts that are for a 1 or a 2-year term. So anybody that is at all interested, please contact my office sooner than later, because the time is ticking, because all nomination papers need to be in the office by March 17th at 5 p.m. I think that's all. I'm going to say it again. It's May 5th, 2025, the annual town election from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Adams Memorial Building at 30 Columbia Street. Certainly, if you cannot make it to vote on that day, my suggestion is to download the early voting form or contact our office. We're more than happy to send one out to you, or you'll be able to come in and vote. You can come in and vote absentee, or come in and vote early if that's something that you wish to do as soon as the ballots come in. I will tell you that there is a little shorter time frame because the deadline to withdraw nomination papers, once people do submit them, is April 2nd. So we obviously can't send it off to the printers to have our ballots printed up until after that date. So there is a little less short, there is plenty of time, but it is, it takes about a week before the ballots actually come in, because once we proof the ballots and we get all that back and forth. But as soon as the ballots do come in, I'm more than happy to post it up on the website and let people know that they are in. If somebody has to come in and they're not in town on that day, or they just can't come and vote at the Memorial Building on that particular day. Thank you.
Any questions?
Can I just,
Sure.
March 17th, isn't it different for the town meeting numbers?
Well, town meeting members only if we mailed you a postcard.
Okay.
Those are March 10th. They've all received notification of that. So certainly if anybody, I've tried to make contact with everybody that I haven't heard back from, but I have tried to reach out to them to make sure that if they are interested in maintaining their town meeting seat, that it does have to be in by March 10th at 5 p.m. But that's a specific group of individuals as opposed to anybody at large that would like to take out papers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. That concludes all of the business to come before the Board of Selectmen at this meeting, so I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
We have a motion by Ann. Do I have a second?
Second?
Second by Joe. All in favor?
Aye.
And that is it. Thank you.
Don't forget.